Rolled at 36.2. All right, so I think Lance and my argument kind of boils down to not proven versus not true. And Lance says that's sophistry. And all along, for the whole history of this frickin' painting, I've been saying just wait and see. And I'm still saying that.
Okay. Can I, okay, now I don't
Sophistry is verbal tricks. Too.
All right, I don't want to be interrupted now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The problem with what Rick is saying is that it violates the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. If you are an American intelligence agency, you can't go to the FISA court and say, we think that Bill Clinton's been having sex with goats. And we've got this dossier that was paid for by the Republicans that says that. And so we want to investigate Bill Clinton. We need to set up electronic eavesdropping devices around Bill Clinton's house because we think he's having sex with goats. Now, we have no proof that he's having sex with goats, but we want to do it anyway. See, if you do that, then what you've basically done is you've created a fascist government. Because then anybody can say, well, I think you're having sex with goats. So I can't prove it. I have no evidence. I have no credible leads for that. But I want to be able to put surveillance electronics around your house, Rick, because I think you're having sex with goats. And I'm going to tell that to the court. That's illegal.
Well, let me ask something.
It violates the right to privacy and search and seizure.
If you don't have evidence.
If you don't have anything to go on. I mean, if you knowingly, this is the distinction. If you have sources that you've corroborated that are saying, Bill Clinton's having sex with goats, then you can say we need to eavesdrop on him because he could be blackmailed. But you can't just come up with something out of your ass. I think in his hotel room, Clinton's having sex with goats.
Well,
you can't do that.
Let me ask you this.
Huh?
Who was the judge in the FISA court? Do we know?
We do know the judge. And she's refusing to comment.
Okay, well,
Because
was she
well, the first thing she did was she said no. She refused. And then they came back again. And the second time she agreed. So my point is that if that's what you're going on, Rick, if we're going to go with your method, then anybody working for the U.S. government can investigate anybody. They can put surveillance in anybody's house because they think you're having sex with goats, even though they don't have any reason to prove that. They've got nothing on it. They've got no proof. They have no witnesses. They just say so. And if they knowingly made that story up, then they have to go to prison, Rick. Your party did that. Your candidate did that. And there's more.
Well, that seems like an overstatement.
No. Because when the opposing candidate is being surveilled by several U.S. intelligence agencies, that gets read to the president in his morning intelligence briefing. So what that means is Obama knew that Trump was being surveilled by his FBI. That's so illegal, Rick. That's what's done in Russia, in China, in North Korea. It's never been done in the United States.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
So, say Trump is 100% blameless in this. Are they allowed to get a FISA warrant if Trump's people are being busy beavers up to weirdness with Russia?
Well,
if a candidate,
but they can't surveil the candidate's home. They can surveil those people's homes.
Well, yeah. What about the campaign headquarters where everybody's working out of?
They can't put a tap on Trump's phone because somebody associated with him had something to do with this. And because then you're wiretapping Trump.
Do we
your
know
opponent.
that? Was Trump wiretapped? Do
Yes.
we know?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
His personal phone,
Yeah,
where he
yeah,
ordered.
Yeah. They had listening devices around his house where he lived.
Okay, so I can give you this: that if the Fusion GPS report plus the other reports that the FBI was already working on all turn out to be, I guess nothing incriminating against Trump is found, and if you're accurate in saying that Trump was surveilled based on stuff that was fabricated, then, some people should be in trouble.
But we're not talking about some people. We're talking about President Obama because he received the information in his morning intelligence briefing.
Well, no, if that seems like a stretch, because if people whose job it is to investigate the stuff made up stuff or overstated stuff, that's not Obama making up or overstating stuff.
Wouldn't it be up, okay, fair enough, but wouldn't it be up to Obama to say, wait a minute, you are putting listening devices around Trump's home and office? That doesn't seem right. I think we need more evidence to go on before you do that.
Well, it seems
I
like
want
a
to see
judge.
the evidence.
That seems like a judgment call. He has people saying, "We think we need to do this." Somebody is saying at some point.
Let me put it to you this way: if I knew that you were going to have a devastating argument for me this week, and I hired the FBI to put listening devices around your house so that I could find out what it was that you were going to argue with me about, would that be right? If the FBI came and said to me, Lance, we can put these listening devices around Rick's house, would you say that was a good thing? Or would you say, no, would you say, Lance, you should stick up for me and say no to the FBI?
Again, it's a judgment call where people come to the president and they say that we have evidence or a strong supposition based on evidence that, that Trump or Trump's people are up to no good with regard to Russia.
Okay. So if somebody came to you and they didn't have evidence, they just had an opinion, they say, we think when he was in his hotel room, he was watching prostitutes pee.
Well, here's what I would think. If I were Obama, I would think, A, that's hilarious. B, do you have any proof of this frickin' tape?
Well, they didn't.
And they would say no. So then
So
Obama
you would say, then you better stop doing this shit.
No, I would say, what else do you have?
And they didn't have anything.
Yeah, but they did. And
no, they didn't.
This is where we get into the argument.
They did not.
Between
you have no proof.
Yeah, but this is where we get into the boring argument that we're going to end in a second because we're not going to agree.
We're not going to end.
No, but there's a difference between disproven and not proven.
Right. And if I was in the FBI and I said, you know what, I hate Rick Rosner, I'm going to go to the FISA court and I'm going to tell them that I think Rick was having Russian prostitutes pee.
But you can't use that because...
But that's what they used.
No, they used the rest of the dossier.
And the rest of the dossier is equally unproven. Nothing in the dossier has been proven. You've given me that. You already gave me that. We're gone. We're moving on from that. Nothing's been proven.
I'll give you... Now
So you can't go to the court and say, because of this shit that isn't proven, I want to put listening devices around Rick Rosner's house.
But you can go to the court with stuff that isn't proven.
No, you cannot.
You can go... Like,
you have to have...
Circumstantial evidence is not absolute proof.
It can't be something you made up, Rick. You have to have more than what was in the dossier because nothing...
No, that's your call.
No, but that's the law.
No, you're...
It's the law, Rick.
They found a bunch of stuff. Now,
That wasn't true. It hasn't been proven. That's the law. If I was a cop and I thought, I'm going to get that bastard Rick Rosner, I couldn't make a dossier full of things. Oh, I think he did this, I think he did that, and go to the court and say, I think he did all this stuff. Let me put listening devices in his house.
So what we're basically arguing about is a degree of evidence.
No, what we're arguing about is the only person in the United States that still thinks the dossier is true is you.
Then
You're the only one. Not the Senate, not the Democrats, not the Congress, not the Justice Department, not the FBI. Just you,
no,
Rick
that's
Rosner.
ridiculous.
No, nobody thinks what was in the dossier was true.
But no,
Because there's no evidence for it.
now, as of you didn't like the stories, we went upstairs and we looked at the stories.
Yes.
And they mostly said not proven,
Not verified.
not verified.
Correct. Yeah.
And you threw out, we couldn't read a story from 2 months ago, from November 15th.
Well,
because
these are the stories. There's a story about.
No, but let's talk about the story.
Gage.
Hold on, you wouldn't let me bring into evidence.
You can read. You know what? You can read anything you want. I've got all night. It's 11 o'clock.
No, but let
you
me
can
do-
spend
no,
as
me-
many
no, no, but let me just-
hours as you want up there. You will not find a single story that's been verified
Yeah, but here's
about Trump.
okay. But his people now. But let me. The Christopher Steele, the guy, the MI5 guy,
Yes.
or 6, I forget, said 2 months ago he thinks that he wasn't. Steele wasn't hired. He was an investigator. He wasn't hired to prove stuff. He was hired to.
Make stuff up.
No, he was hired to look at possibilities. And Steele himself said that a year after he was, I don't know how long after, that back in November, 2 months ago, he said that he believes that 70 to 90% of the possibilities that he collected in the dossier will turn out to be true. He believes that 70 to 90% of the dossier is true. He wasn't required to bring them just stuff that was absolutely substantiated. He was hired to bring them
Well, there has to be more than what he brought them.
according to you,
no,
but not according to the FISA judge.
Okay, you have to have more than a bunch of stories. You have to have credible witnesses. You have to have some evidence. They don't have that right now. You may think they do, and he may think they do, but they don't. Right now, as of this moment, June the 14th,
January the
14th, 2018, it's all made up.
Let me say my motto then. It turns out to be my motto for this year on the painting is let's wait and see.
Okay,
Now you can say that that is a bad
but Rick,
standard.
Rick, that's not what we go on in the United States. They do that in North Korea, but not in the United States.
All right, so
you can't say I think my opponent Wang Chun fucks ducks, and so I'm going to set up surveillance around his house.
oh, okay, so we're at a good point here because we can end the argument because now we're just going to go around in circles,
Okay.
which we have been doing.
Okay,
You
fine.
think that a lax standard was used to surveil Trump?
If what has been done does not have any more to go on as justification, then it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution.
Was there any politics by the FBI involved in it?
So let's move on to that. Can we move on to that? Because
All of the people that were involved in doing this turned out to be contributors to the Hillary Clinton campaign.
And did any of them contribute to Republicans at any
No.
point in their campaign? Because the two people who were banging each other, the two FBI agents who were having an affair, as you've read, didn't have a lack of respect for only Trump. They also thought Eric Holder sucked, and they thought Chelsea Clinton sucked. And, traditionally, the FBI has been a conservative-leaning, Republican-leaning organization. And even during the election, the New York branch of the FBI was said to be Trump Town and possibly leaking information to Rudy Giuliani. The FBI is not a particularly liberal organization. That's thing one. Thing two is FBI agents are allowed to have personal opinions. Thing three is the FBI agents who are banging each other and emailing each other, at least the guy of the two, was taken off any kind of investigation of Trump and his people and was demoted as soon as Mueller found out about this stuff back in June, I believe. So, I mean, it's. I was thinking about, who.
He said that if Trump was elected, he was going to need to do something to get him unelected. He was going to be working on something he called an insurance policy.
Well, when we next break, we'll go read that.
And if he did that, that's treason. Because you're not allowed to come up with some reason.
Well, sure. If he said that,
president.
then that's a. I mean, we'll go read it at break.
They had people in the FBI that were committing treason. They hated Trump so much.
Well, I don't know.
Somebody.
No, wait. It's not
happening during the Obama administration.
It's not treason to say something flippant to somebody you're having an affair with.
What was the insurance policy?
I don't know.
Rick?
We'll go read the stuff verbatim.
You don't know because nobody knows.
Yeah, but So anyway, let's.
What was he working on that would make sure that if Trump was elected, they could.
Before we have further discussion of this, if at all.
So I want to know why you don't know anything about this. Why
I know quite a bit about
Why you didn't know that Nunes was going to release this information this week?
Well, because Nunes is.
He's the head of the investigation.
Yeah, but he's
Rick.
also was promised to recuse himself because he did a bunch of.
I don't care, Rick.
Nunes is
he's been discredited in your opinion.
Yeah.
So if he says what I just told you, which is all true, you don't believe that.
Which part about what the FBI guys?
You don't believe that the FBI was gathering information, went to the FISA court to get permission to surveil Trump's personal residence or offices. You don't believe that because Nunes said it, and he's been discredited in your mind.
Well, yeah, Nunes promised to recuse himself.
He promised to recuse himself
from the Russia investigation.
He promised. So now Rick doesn't believe anything he says.
Well, did he
How
recuse himself?
How could you believe it?
Well,
he said that. He promised. And now you can't believe anything he says.
Yeah, I think he's a shitty politician.
Okay, all right. Was he right when he said that the FBI used the dossier to get a FISA court warrant to surveil Trump's offices? Was he right when he said that?
He was probably right in part, yeah.
Okay, so that's what he said he's going to do this week. He's going to release evidence of widespread surveillance that the FBI was doing on Republicans. How do you feel about that, Rick?
Let's see what he releases.
What if they were doing that? Was that okay?
It depends on what evidence they made the call on.
Well, they don't have any evidence. We just went over that.
No,
There's nothing in the dossier that's been proven.
When the FBI asks for a FISA warrant on a mobster, right. I assume they have.
But there's nothing on Trump. Nothing's been proven. There's no corroborating evidence.
There's a bunch of stuff on the people around him.
Nothing in the dossier on Trump would have justified surveilling Trump's office.
Well, if the people that he's working with.
No, but I can't surveil you to get at someone you're working with. I can't do that.
That seems unlikely.
No, it's actually because if I put all kinds of surveillance at your house because I know that you know some guy that you wrote with like 10 years ago, that's not legal.
Yeah, but if those people that are the hinky people are coming to my house.
You want to be able to do it, don't you? You want to be able to.
I got to say, my motto is...
You want to put surveillance on Trump,
my motto is wait and see. Let's see what Nunes comes out with this week.
But that's not what the government's motto is.
Yeah, but let's wait and see what Nunes comes out with this week.
It doesn't matter, Rick.
But
Just what I told you is enough to scare you. You want the United States government surveilling people on false charges? On P-tapes? You want them to say, you know what? Rick was in a
Well,
hotel room.
hold on.
He hired
so
prostitutes
if
to
I'm
pee.
if I'm a guy,
Yeah.
In fact, there's a whole movie about
Okay.
this a little bit.
Yeah.
Where if I have a poker game at my house every week, and I may or may not be clean, but there's no evidence, one way or the other, on me. But my poker game, everybody else is a mobster. You're saying that they can't surveil, they can't
They can't
do surveillance on the poker game?
If I tell you that there's a prostitute in Trump's hotel room, you can't surveil him on that basis unless you have more evidence than me making that up.
Yeah, but if
And do you know who told him that, Rick?
you love the
Do you know,
prostitute
wait.
thing.
Do you know who gave Christopher Steele the information? Do you know who?
Russia.
Russians.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're supposed to trust the Russians in order to justify surveilling American politicians.
So
Where did he get the evidence? It wasn't from anybody in America. It was from Russians, right?
I got to say, because
So
this
if
is
I
boring, we've
go,
going
wait, no,
around.
if I go to the North Koreans and they tell me we saw Rick having prostitutes pee, does that justify me going and getting a warrant and putting surveillance on your home?
It depends on which Russians he talked to.
Which Russians?
I mean, the guy is a Russia expert.
Yeah, but
he
he
spent his
talked
career.
to Russians to get the information. So you're willing to trust the Russians to decide which American politicians get surveillance?
Well, it depends on which Russians. If it's the Russians who are actively participating in
He
the
got
disinformation,
it from Russian government officials. That's where he got his info.
then all I got to say is we got to move on from this because this is boring. Because
It's
we're going
only
around
boring
and
for
around.
you because you're losing.
Is this boring?
It's not boring, Rick, because you just
Okay.
keep evading the subject.
No, it's
You think it's okay. By the way, did you know that was illegal?
what the Fourth Amendment stuff. I've been
No,
hearing about it.
It's illegal to go to a foreign government to get information on American citizens. Did you know that?
It seems like it should be illegal.
Yeah, it should be. Well, it is illegal, and that's what the Democrats did.
You again, you're picking peanuts out of shit.
No. I'm talking about the shit.
You still haven't answered
Hillary
my question.
Clinton-
If
Hillary
I have a
Clinton-
poker game,
No, but there was no poker game.
if
All
I'm
all
running a
we
campaign
know-
headquarters,
No, we're running
and
a
they're
campaign. Listen, Hillary Clinton hired a guy that went to Russian officials who told him things about Trump that are not true or not verified.
not verified.
And those things were used to surveil Trump, to put listening devices on Trump. The Russian government made up the stories or provided the stories that were not verified. And you think that's okay. That's what happened. That is what happened.
All right, so when you get a warrant,
It can't come from the Russian government.
there are levels of say smoke.
Yeah. And the smoke can't come from the Russian government, an
Well-
enemy government.
I just,
The Democrats went to an enemy government, Russia, to get a reason to justify surveilling their opponents. And that doesn't bother you.
well, the Russia's involvement in the whole thing bothers me.
Where there is smoke, there is fire. Where there's fire, there's fury. How do you all feel about Fire and Fury? Book.
Okay, so let's move on to Fire and Fury, the book about Trump, written by what's his name?
Wolf.
Michael Wolff? Yeah. We've been around. Let's move on. You say you won. I'm losing. So let's move on. Let's move on. You
I
made your
want to
point.
know why it doesn't bother you that Obama tipped off the Iranians that the Israelis were going to assassinate.
I know nothing
a
about that fucking story.
Why don't you know anything about it?
Well, you're saying because I'm brainwashing.
Correct.
Okay, so fine. So you made your point. So
I haven't made my point.
No,
No, I haven't made my point.
Because you can't bring up shit I don't know about. You make the point, and then fine, but you can't hammer it 300 times more. So fine, I don't know anything about the story. I just said it. You win. So let's move on to this book that dominated the mainstream media, which you say brainwashes
Before we
everybody.
do that, Blanche, do you want to comment on the shithole issue, or are you good?
Sure.
Rick has claimed that he called Africa and
Are we being
Haiti-
taped right now?
Yeah. We're rolling,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't care if he called Haiti a shithole. Haiti is a shithole. I don't care if he called it a shithole. And frankly, he says he didn't. But I think it was a Democrat that says he did.
Plus Lindsey Graham, who's
And I don't care. I think it's he raised an important question. Why are we bringing people from shitholes to this country that we don't need? I think it's a great question. And I wish the Democrats would answer it.
well, here, I'll try. It's like our whole history has been people coming from countries that were considered shitholes at the time.
Okay, well,
the Irish,
yeah, fine.
the swarthy Italians, the filthy Jews, the Chinese, everybody.
Why do we need people from Haiti, Rick? Why do we need more immigrants from Haiti? How does that help you and me?
Well, I just heard on my brainwashing radio that 40% of the immigrants, 40% of the immigrants from Africa, for instance, have college degrees.
I don't care.
Which is higher than.
So they're taking jobs from Americans. Is that what you're telling me?
So you're just saying you want zero immigrants, right? You'd be happy for.
I don't know why we need immigrants from Haiti.
As opposed to what? You want to go Norway?
I don't know why we need these immigrants. What are they doing here? Most of them go on welfare. We have a welfare system in this country. Some of them do well when they get here. I don't care. Why are we doing this?
So basically,
how does it benefit the United States to bring in these people from Haiti?
Historically,
No, it's not helping anybody. We don't need them.
I
want America to be helped. I want the citizens of the United States to be helped, not the citizens of Haiti and Africa. They can help their own countries. It doesn't do us any good to bring them in here.
Well, you asked me, kind of, maybe rhetorically. But what I like is that the U.S., in my brainwashed mind, which has less than 5% of the world's population, being a beacon to attract the 95%, the go-getters from the 95% of the earth that is not American, to get the hardworking, smart people who will come over here and become Americans and, in the words of our president, help make America great. I like being able to cherry pick the rest of the world. Now, you can argue that we need better systems to cherry pick the best people from the rest of the world. And we could argue about, what's best to do. But the idea that, that we don't need any immigrants, or that we only need immigrants from certain countries, kind of defies, in my mind, the idea that there may be talent in many corners of the world.
Well, there might be talent in many corners of the world, and I wish that talent would stay where they are instead of coming here and going on welfare.
Yeah, I just read a big, thick article in the New Yorker about how China is stepping into the leadership vacuum in the world, where they're doing a lot of the shit that we used to be known for, foreign aid and helping with project and
That has nothing to do with immigration, Rick.
I just hate the idea that we won't get the best people in the world.
But we're not. If you go to places like Haiti, you're taking people that are going to go right on welfare when they get here. And statistically, that's irrefutable. So don't tell me I'm making that up.
I don't know.
You're bringing in people from the third world that we don't need, who are competing with our poorer people for jobs and going on welfare. And this country, I want our politicians to take care of Americans, not people from Haiti.
So you think everybody from Haiti, or statistically, any group of people from Haiti is going to contain just not much talent?
Statistically, our system of immigration is not singling out the people that are most talented. I don't care where they're from. We're
Yeah, but
generally
yeah, but you
taking-
do care where they're from because you just said you don't want anybody from Haiti.
Well,
As and
if my ideal system would analyze every immigrant, no matter where they're from, and find the best people. And right now, if we're taking people from the third world, chances are they're going to go on welfare and they're not going to contribute to our society. They're going to take jobs from the poorer classes of Americans. And I care about Americans, not Haitians. When it comes to immigration, if you want to help Haitians, you can send them aid. And by the way, does it bother you that none of the money that the Clintons took
No, then I don't want to
during
talk
the
about that
Clinton
because that's
Foundation
horseshit. That's
was
horseshit.
given to the Haitian people?
That's been
No,
largely debunked.
it's absolutely true. Very little of the money that the Clinton. Did you know that the
Wait,
Clinton,
none or very little?
Very little. The Clinton Foundation gave on the year that they got money, millions and millions of dollars for Haiti. After their earthquake, they threw the Clinton Foundation.
I mean, you know what? This is. I don't want to talk about.
Actually, threw a $3 million wedding for Chelsea. It came out of the Clinton Foundation.
Horse
the
crap.
actual.
Horse crap.
Okay, fine. I'm going to make the statement in front of the camera. After the earthquake in Haiti, the Clinton Foundation became the main fundraiser of charity for the Haitians.
No,
That year, after the earthquake, they contributed $3 million to give Chelsea Clinton a lavish wedding.
well, this A, this is whataboutism, and B, let's go read about it.
Okay,